Coming up, we're going to continue riding the hype train that is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Also, we're going to talk about Halloween Horror Nights because why not? And then finally, we're going to answer just a couple of your questions at the end of the show from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. This is the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 220 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is also brought to you by DizBoards.com. If you're looking for even more information to help you plan your Universal Orlando vacation, head over to DizBoards.com and join the discussion today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I, of course, am your host, Craig Williams. Today, I am joined alongside by my co-host. It's no surprise. You know him. You love him. Ryan, the Ryno Clavin. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you. I'm just going to talk over you all day.
Yes, please.
Yes, okay.
Please.
Thank you very
Please.
much. Yes. No, thank you for being here. I'm glad we could come here together on this blessed day to talk about all this universal stuff.
Two mouth brooders do.
As two mouth brooders do. And we will get to what a mouth brooder is, in fact, very coming up quickly here on this episode. But yeah, I just want to give you a recap of what we're going to be talking about today, just so you know whether or not you actually want to tune in. I'm assuming that most people are going to just turn this off right there, but hey, maybe we'll get you. So we're going to talk about a little bit more about Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure right before it opens up here. We're also going to talk about a new Halloween Horror Nights house announcement. So hey, I'm already being nice by not playing that as the lead. I'm putting that second. So you're welcome for all those people already sick of it. And then we're going to answer a couple of your questions at the end of the episode. So, and I'm going to give a plug to last week's episode. So you might have listened to it, you might have watched it, but regardless, it's apparently people loved watching us eat hot dogs. Either that, or it was your exclamation of "That's going to be the thumbnail" of you putting.
I saw that thumbnail.
You said that's going to be the thumbnail. So you know what I did? I was a man of my word, and I made it the thumbnail. And I don't know if that's why it helped and why we got so many people to watch that episode, but a good amount of you did. I'm sure we got some new people. So if you're coming back for this next week, now we're going to show you how much of a disappointment train the Universal Edition is as we go from one high to a very low. But hey, we all have fun.
That's a roller coaster, baby. That's podcasting.
Yippee.
Gonna work it in every time now.
Yes. We'll see what else we can work in. We always try to work stuff in. I heard the child catcher creeping outside the bushes, but I don't think he's here yet. So we'll see one day. But
Trickle toys.
Trickle toys.
Lollipops.
Oh, I hate us so much. So, okay, let's start off by talking about Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Obviously, the new attraction coming to Islands of Adventure inside the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We are getting very close to the grand opening, which will be happening on June 13th, 2019. Word on the street is, at least as of when this episode is being released, that we could be on the brink of soft openings happening, technical rehearsals. I'm not going to get into date specifics on that. There was one date that I heard. There was another date that I heard. There was another date that I heard. None of the dates are lining up in my head. So you know what? I think it's just going to be one of those things that it might just randomly happen, and some people are going to get lucky, and then the blogger stampede will come through, and the annual pass holder stampede will come through, and everyone will just push everyone over, and it'll be fun. And that's how we'll handle it. But before we get to that, to that madness, which I'm sure will be very, very soon for all of us, we're gonna build up the hype a little bit more. So Universal actually took a bunch of people from the media behind the walls, the construction walls, to get a glimpse of the attraction in action, and as well as parts of the queue. And as you can tell, probably we were not one of those groups that were selected for that. Unfortunately, I mean, it's a big loss on your part. So I'm sure you saw plenty of other videos from other outlets and stuff that were able to get that information out there first. But unfortunately, that wasn't part of us, so I can't tell you what it was like being in that experience yet. You'll just have to wait a little while longer. But for now, we're going to kind of go over what they consider to be 7 thrilling details about Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. And by that, I mean Universal Orlando, as part of a story they released on their official blog. So, so you ready to talk about this story coaster? Mm-hmm. Okay. Story coaster.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster with a story.
I get it. Yeah, I know. I get it. They're not the first to use that description for an attraction.
Well, okay.
I don't think.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine. So, number 1, they said you're going to journey beyond the grounds of Hogwarts Castle.
This is a never-ending story coaster. Boom. Nailed it.
There you go. You'll venture to the edge of the Forbidden Forest and enter ruins that seemingly been abandoned for centuries behind Hagrid's hut. The ruins were imagined and brought to life by Universal Creative in collaboration with the Harry Potter films production designer Stuart Craig and art director Alan Gilmore. This is where your care of magical creatures with Hagrid will begin. Number 2, all new environments and sets. Inside the ruins, you will see materials from Hagrid's Care of Magical Creatures class, including dragon eggs on the verge of hatching and a makeshift nursery, where he kept his blast-ended Skrewts in a terrarium before they outgrew the chamber. There will also be a pre-show featuring digital projection technology and special effects where you'll encounter Arthur Weasley, Hagrid, and his loyal dog, Fang. But the experience doesn't stop there. Once you board your motorbike, you'll plunge deeper into the Forbidden Forest and closer to some of the Wizarding World's most rarest magical creatures. And that forest, of course, has 1,200 trees.
Ooh. They're all tiny right now. They're going to get big.
I've got a fun joke. I'll tell you off air about it.
Oh, okay.
I can't say it on air right here, but so the ruins that you're going to walk through, that's the repurposed structure from the Dragon Challenge cube. So I'm glad that stayed alive, and from like what the people who went into the queue said, I mean, it's obviously completely changed in there, but at the same time, it has that familiar feel of Dragon Challenge still in there, which had that familiar feel of Dueling Dragons. So I like that it's keeping tradition alive in a way. But the pre-show with the projection, so it's going to be like Gringotts going in and seeing Bill Weasley standing there. So I like those little shows. It adds a little bit of it, but they have to go to these other cast members at this point because
the main ones are like, please stop calling. We've changed our number.
Yeah, I mean, and now that Ron Weasley is a Netflix star, he can't be bothered.
What's he in now?
He was in that one where they told him he had cancer and that he was going to die, and then they found out that it was a mistake. And
yeah.
I watched very little bits of it, and I was like, this makes me uncomfortable. I do not care to watch anymore. So I didn't. But number 3, the most launches of any roller coaster in the world, with 7 total launches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. Is cool. Yeah, it's very cool. So 7 launches throughout 50 miles per hour. So we're talking about a nice long ride there with those extra moments of thrill that happen along the way. So I like it. Next, the first roller coaster in the United States to feature a free fall vertical drop, dropping you nearly 17 feet. So we've been talking about this a while, with the Devil's Snare, and that was going to be a portion where you actually drop down on there. There was some misclarifications about this in that there is another theme park attraction, roller coaster out there that does have a drop track in the United States. It's Verbolten at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. But apparently the difference is, and I got my one person I was talking to about it, they were explaining that it really is not, that Verbolten is an elevator system. This really is not an elevator system at all. It is a true free fall drop on it. So it will be safe. That being said,
Yeah.
and
First one goes out, just crashes on the ground, and they're like, whoops, never rode again.
it will be safe, but it is a true free fall. So that is neato Bejito. So it will be the longest roller coaster in Florida, measuring nearly a mile in length, 5,053 feet. So nice long attraction. So word on the street, right around 5 minutes for a roller coaster experience.
Doesn't it feel like roller coasters are so much longer than that?
Yeah, a lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. So, I'll give you an example. We were out in Knott's Berry Farm a couple months back, and we rode what
feels like it lasts forever. If you're talking about what I'm talking... Oh, no, you're going to talk about the Pony Express.
I was going to talk about the Pony Express, a very, very timid, easygoing coaster that is in the Tron style seating. So that's part of this too. We'll talk about the cars next, but it's actually on the motorbike. You're not sitting in that motorcycle style on it. You are on a seat. Yeah. So it's not really motorcycle style. So for Tron style right now, if you're not going out to Tron, the best thing we could recommend right now is the Pony Express at Knott's Berry Farm. And we waited in line for like 10 minutes for it, and it was just literally a loop that goes around. And I was like, oh, well, it was fun in that 30 seconds that we were on it, but it's going to be awesome once we go and ride Tron here in Walt Disney World, and it's going to be this amazingly long experience. And now I'm like, I haven't watched any of the ride-throughs of it ever. I know what the building looks like. I know the chute on the outside. That's all I want to know for the first time that I ride it, whether it is here or over in Shanghai. But as I've been watching the track being built at Walt Disney World, every time I pass by it, I'm like, it's going to be such a short ride. It's not as long as I thought. And then that led me to think there really aren't very many long roller coasters.
A roller coaster that's 5 minutes long. That's a long roller coaster.
Yeah, I don't have my facts in front of me here, and I know you wouldn't ride it anyways. Probably you'd ride it. You'd just be scared. No, in Busch Gardens, Tampa, they have Cheetah Hunt, and that ride feels very, very long. But I didn't look up to see which. I mean, obviously this is the longest one in Florida, but I didn't look up to see how long that is. But I like a good long roller coaster. It's very rare that you get those really, really long ones, because then a lot of times the ones that are super long in length also, they go very, very fast. So that also,
you're over and done with them before you even know it.
So it's a weird life we live in. Roller coasters, huh? Or roller coasters.
Roller coaster type of world.
That's podcasting. Okay, so Enchanted Motorbikes will take you on an adventure through the Forbidden Forest, and you can ride the motorcycle like Hagrid or board the adjacent sidecar like Harry Potter.
How are we going to ride this for the first time? Are you going to be on the motorcycle, or am I going to be in the sidecar? I just asked the same question, but it worded it differently.
I don't know. So it all depends on what... I like the idea of being higher up on the motorcycle.
I'm scared of both.
Yeah.
So
I enjoy roller coasters where you kind of sit up and you don't have your feet on the ground.
Well, see, I want to be in the sidecar so I can wear my white scarf.
Yeah,
it flutters in the wind behind me.
Then you can be stupid Harry Potter in his little stupid sidecar for the first time, and I will be Hagrid. I mean, dimensions wise, it's closer anyways. Yeah. So, and then the story coaster will catapult you 65 feet into the air at a more than 70-degree angle, then drop you backward in one movement. So we're talking about the spike.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Cool, up and down. So, they showed off a quick little video, too, of kind of the sneak peek of the attraction. So it's, all moving very quick, but you get some launch moments through the ruins and left and right. And
it's twisting a lot. Yeah. I know we talked about it in another show where I said, it twists over the water really low. But when I watched the video, I'm like, man, that track is right above the water. I'm sure that you can't reach your hand down into it, but that's how close it looks. And I wouldn't either, but...
Yep, I mean, you almost feel like you could get your face wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Hagrid's again. Opens June 13th. Maybe technical rehearsals will start sooner, but we will have to see on that. So now we're going to move over to Halloween Horror Nights, because we're talking about a new house announcement, another original house announcement, pumped. Everyone expected this because there was a very intriguing post on Twitter by Halloween Horror Nights where it was a bunch of waves.
Like 32 wave emojis with one devil in the middle.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, well, maybe that's a clue. And turns out it is, because we have the next house, and that is, Ryno,
Depths of Fear.
Yes.
Not Johnny Depths of Fear. Depths of Fear.
That's, I believe, Johnny Depths of Fear is when you get in a relationship with Amber Heard and have to struggle through to find your way out.
It's getting too intense.
Is it too soon?
Maybe. It's still currently happening, so...
I mean, and granted, Lincoln jokes just became acceptable.
I thought you said LinkedIn jokes, and I was like, yeah, everyone's laughing over on LinkedIn.
Lincoln jokes. I need to see this play like I need a hole in the head.
Terrible.
It's one of my favorite Office quotes.
Yeah. And I just love how he's like, and he doesn't. He's so proud of himself.
He is. So, Ryno, do you wanna read the story of Depths of Fear, or do you want me to?
Well, you do it in that voice.
I can. Okay, then you'll read about the mouth.
I'm not saying do it in the voice. I'm saying
I will
do it.
I will do it in the voice, but then you have to read about the mouth brooders.
Okay.
Okay.
It's when you have a bad rash that comes back once a month on the inside of your mouth.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Once a month.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's go into the story of Depths of Fear. The workers of a deep-sea mining company have found themselves in a dire situation. They've delved too deep and encountered a parasitic race of creatures that turn out to be deadly. Panic ensues as you find yourself encountering infected miners and acidic creatures. The pressure builds as the self-destruct sequence counts down to inevitable implosion of the facility.
Ooh.
So that's your story for you, but we did identify the creatures, and by we I mean Universal was nice enough to share what the creatures
I just
would
love
be.
that it just has in parentheses the next line, mouth brooders, and then next line. Like it just left it as a line. So it says what?
Do you feel like this was actually like someone who's involved with HHN one day was like sitting in their office and a person came in and just started like heavy mouth breathing and they got very annoyed at them and they're like,
and they smelled
that's
like
it.
Tuna. They probably had like tuna.
Yeah, they had a tuna sandwich. They were mouth breathing right beside them and they're like, you know what? I'm going to come up with this original idea for a maze with mouth breathers. No, mouth brooders. That's it.
Inspiration is all around us.
They'll never know that it's
That'll
about
teach
them.
Steve to come in with that tuna fish sandwich in the microwave ever again.
Gyros. Smells like popcorn. Okay, mouth brooders.
As you venture further into the depths, you'll encounter the creatures known only as the mouth brooders. Picture being trapped in a claustrophobic mining installation underwater with a countless number of these slithering monsters. Your worst nightmares will come to life as these fiends spew flesh-eating acid eggs at human hosts, and you witness miners being driven mad by the infection.
And when you say miners, you mean like actual mining.
Miners,
Men
not
mine,
miners.
not under 18 kids.
It's my favorite joke in Galaxy Quest. No, they all look at least 12 to me.
Yeah.
Miners, not miners.
Fantastic. So that's the house. You excited for this one?
Yeah, actually, normally I don't get overly excited for the original ones, but this one actually sounds pretty cool to me. I end up liking the original ones too. I just, for some reason, the plots always feel weird to me. But this one seems like, I don't know. I'm already thinking about it. Tight spaces, acid burning, spew things, and like, I bet there's going to be like drizzling water, and the fact that you have to, it's a countdown to the inevitable implosion of the facility, that leads me to believe you're going to get wet in this one.
Yeah, you might get wet, but hopefully not too wet. I'm about 50-50 on it. I like
this one better than the slutty Romans or whatever we called the other one. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word.
Yeah, I mean, it's tight on there, so you never know how it goes. But I'll say it later on in the show, so that way you can feel better about saying it too.
I do feel bad.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not editing it. But anyways, I think the thing for me is going to be, like it comes down to a lot of these houses, it's going to be how well is the aesthetic gonna follow through, because I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be annoyed at every time there's a miner who's like burning up with acid, just like randomly. It's like, oh! Like I don't care for that much. So the monsters, the creatures, the mouth brooders, they're gonna have to be pretty terrifying, and I hope they are, but I feel like it also has the potential to look really, really bad. It needs to be the ingenuity of some of like I think they need to have the ingenuity of some of the houses in recent years where they felt like they blended into the environment almost in a way, like
that's what I was thinking.
Scarecrow and
what was that one I didn't like that everyone did? The plant one.
Yeah.
They were always just like lumps of plants everywhere.
Yeah. I think I need it to go that route. So like intriguing costumes, but also feel like they belong in the environment. But then it's just the overall aesthetic too. I want this blend vibe of this in this underwater mining place. I want it to be like this joint combination of like a mixture of Deep Blue Sea, the Meg, the Abyss, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. What was scary in the Abyss? James Cameron's directing.
Oh, waka waka, wackety wackety. Do you think the theme this year is monsters?
I mean, yeah, I guess you can kind of argue that it's kind of, if you wanted an overall theme. I mean, look, Stranger Things, obviously there are real monsters in that. Universal monsters have monsters. The Nightingales are monsters. But then again, what's not a monster?
The Shining.
Well, technically, Jack Torrance is a monster. And the
No. They're killers. They're murderers, serial killers, and murderers. I'm trying to think now. Do the houses predominantly always have a monster in them, or is that going to be kind of a weave thrown together? Because we don't know the actual theme of the entire event, right?
Again, this is where I guess it has to. I feel like if you murder all these people, eventually
you're
you do become a
metaphorical
monster.
I'm talking about like real life monsters. That's a real. Well, I guess that they are real life monsters, and I'm talking about fictional monsters. But
I feel like monsters as a whole is too much of a stretch as an overall theme, unless they were going to take it from like going with it and saying like Universal monsters will be the overarching theme, and there will be houses based on all of the Universal monsters singularly and such. I don't know. Maybe they don't need a theme. I could go back to, because we know there's going to be a theme next year.
We didn't
for
need
30.
a theme in the Fiesta of the Dead year either, or whatever it was, and that was stupid.
I think more than likely this year's going to go back to that, where there's going to be one scare zone that gets featured as the theme.
He gets to be the little pop vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that might be how it goes. I could be wrong, but I don't... until we get another original or another intellectual property house, I feel like it's too soon to call what the theme is. Unless someone out there has already called it, then good on you. Please let us know.
It'll be me. I'll call it.
Guess what?
I'm not gonna say chicken butt.
It's gonna be me. Yeah, I don't play that. It's gonna be May crap. It's gonna be me. May. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So that's it. That's all I have to say about that for the news. So we are going to move into our favorite portion of the show, and that deals with questions.
Now I've been listening to that other podcast so much, I wish we had theme music for this part.
I mean, technically we could try to be like a podcast and let other podcasts and let people make theme music for us for everything, just for the fun of it.
I'm scared to see what people are going to come up with.
Yeah,
but I do believe there are a lot of talented people that listen to this show.
I'll just flat out say, you want to make a theme for anything, including the show intro, why not? We might use it.
You want to give us a child catcher theme? We're into it.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 into it.
Yep. So we want themes for
questions, because we do it every week now. So we need the theme.
Intro.
Oh, you want to you want to change the intro?
I mean, we'll see what's out there.
We should have a different song. Yeah. It shouldn't be the same as the other show.
Let's see what's out there. Yeah. Maybe there could be something good out there.
It's going to be... No, we're going to get in the recording studio, you and me, and we're going to hash out our mouth song and redo bum bum bum.
Oh no! Well, first off, we can't do that for legal reasons. Second,
I don't think anyone's gonna match the sound that we're making with our mind. Shazam!
It's, you know what? I don't need Universal sending me one more cease and desist. So I've already gotten enough from them. I don't need more. Anywho, moving away from that. So we got questions, intro. I mean, technically outro goes with that too. But
what about an in-park one when we like cut to in the park?
Oh yeah,
in the park with Ryno and
yeah, I'm
Greg.
thinking like definitely like a stinger for that. ESPN.
Yeah, we need a cut to the cutting back and forth.
Yeah,
that would just be like I forget what you call that, a hit. It would just be a hit. Like we just need a little.
And then of course we already mentioned child catcher one, and then I guess if
bees.
No, that's a little too broad. Like that, and that's podcasting. I feel like that's harder to.
Yeah, that's podcasting. That'll be your new text message tone. Yippee! That'll be the voicemail.
Can we find someone who has connections to Al Pacino out there
Who could get Al Pacino?
to do a hey, it's me, Al Pacino, something dumb like that. Or if we have a good impressionist out there, do it yourself.
Yeah,
and maybe it's like, hey, this is Al Pacino out there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
I'm just going to say the more 80s synth music you can work into this, the better shot you have of getting into our theme.
Yeah. No, okay. I think we've got a solid base on this. We gave you enough inspiration, so now it's all about
what are those things called? The sampler machine? Like basically how they make Stranger Things, or a theremin. Any theremin music. Theremin music out there.
Yeah. You want like an old-fashioned MIDI keyboard out there?
Yeah. I want like MIDI keyboard, but with...
Okay. Yep. I love a good theremin song. I love me some theremin music. Anyways, let's get back to those questions. And first off, I have to give a shout out. I'm glad there were so many comments commenting on, and by that I mean like two, but other people also weighed in on Jean Renel's performance in The Professional.
Did they?
Okay. Yes, and that makes me happy overall.
We're also looking for a theme song to that podcast, if anyone has it out there. The Jean Reno.
No, we absolutely. We're getting very close to launching it. We're just waiting on financing. We're waiting to see new sponsors. Apparently, Dreams Unlimited Travel and Disboards.com is not interested in that one. So
I feel like there's something there for Oreo. Jean Reno Oreo. I feel like it's something. Anyway, all right.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I just had to point that out there too. I don't know why I did it, but we're gonna go back to a question that gets asked very often. We've talked about it before, but you know what? Now's as good a time as ever to bring it up again. But Carolyn asked, I've seen the size limitations for rides listed on Universal's website. How is the park for larger people? Is it mostly inaccessible like it reads as?
I don't want to say mostly inaccessible, because I don't think there's a restriction for like Kong or Fast and Furious or like Minions and stuff. So I feel like there's a fair amount to experience. But when it comes to like the coaster attractions, like Spider-Man, Transformers, I don't think those have like size restrictions necessarily.
Yeah. To follow up with what you're saying there, you're going to have restrictions with the Incredible Hulk coaster. You're going to have issues.
Harry Potter rides, the two coasters, right?
With
not
Forbidden
the two coasters,
Journey.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey will not be serve you well. Flight of the Hippogriff won't serve you well. From what I'm hearing, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure will not serve you well. Obviously, Escape from Gringotts won't. The Mummy will not as well. You can even run into issues on stuff like Men in Black. So yes, there are portions that are largely inaccessible if you are of different proportions. And on top of that too, it's not, I've said it many times on the show, I will continue to say it, it's not all about and I'd say this as I say this with as much I'm not trying to be rude in any way. I'm saying it's not all about being fat. In some cases, especially when it's harnesses coming over you, if you are a big, strong, muscular person, that will also have an impact. If you have, like on Gringotts, I am getting close to the point too. I have what I believe to be thick, massive calves. In reality, people tell me I have chicken legs, so that's offensive. But I struggle with the shape of my legs. I struggle with that attraction too because of how long my legs are and how they go in. So while I technically have no problem with my waist on that, I actually see some impact because of my legs, and I know other people who have too. So it's not always about being fat necessarily. It's just if you are shaped in weird proportions in some ways, then sometimes it won't work. It's like I said, I seen girls when I worked at Forbidden Journey that I was like, no way they're ever getting on. And not to like get graphic, I've told this story before, and then go up there, try to load them on, say nope, it's not going to work, and then they're like, what's the problem? And you're like, well, it's not over your chest, and they make it work. Yeah, and that's the nicest way I can say it is they manipulate their body around getting on there. So I've seen crazier things. So I will say it's mostly inaccessible, but it's not entirely. So that's kind of the best way.
That's a good question to ask, though, from people who have, we've all have friends who have had those experiences.
Everyone's different. If you're a stockier person but built heavy, built thicker, not necessarily fat, that could end up hurting you in the long run, where it's a bit more of a struggle. Whereas if you do have room to kind of move yourself around, then sometimes you can make that squeeze. You can push your gut up a little bit and fit better. I know. I'm not trying to be insensitive with how I'm talking about it here. I'm just saying what I experienced. And it's the people who you always thought wouldn't get on something are the ones who know how to then manipulate their bodies so they can. And as long as it goes down, then harnesses go down, they get to the point they need to be. That's all that matters for any team members there. If it shows you're safely on there, they're not going to be the one who questions it and says, are you sure this works? That would be, that's like my biggest nightmare, having to think about ever having to do that. But anywho, we will move on to the next question. Heather Jenkins asked a good one about comparing the intensity of Universal's coasters with Disney, but I'm going to save that for a larger episode because that's one that I think after Hagrid's opens up, I think it's about time to refresh that entire discussion, because Slinky Dog's open at this point, Hagrid's will be open, Dragon Challenge gone. There's a lot of change that's happened since the last time around that we did that. So I thought that was a good way to try to buy some time until I found another question. I did not prepare ahead of time. Are we seeing a trend? Are we seeing a trend? Craig doesn't prepare.
It's not that you don't prepare, that you have a lot of other work to do, and sometimes we just have to wait till the last minute to get ready for this one. That's all.
Yeah,
I feel like we're like the one cousin that shows up at the holiday, and everyone's got a gift for everyone else, and then they get a Dunkin' Donuts gift certificate. Yeah, that's me. I'm bringing it up right now.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take this one. Thank you for helping. I did not listen to you.
I always get everyone a thoughtful gift, and I end up with Dunkin' Donuts gift cards.
Well, that's your main problem. You're thinking too much about people, and I would say you shouldn't do this. This is like, I'm really making a connection with our audience right now because I'm looking right at them. Hi.
I don't even need a gift. You don't even have to get me anything at that point. It's fine.
Oh, by the way, we just found your present the other day. Again, we keep losing it, but
I think this is a trick.
What?
This is a trick.
No, we found your Christmas present that we forgot about. At this point, I feel like the anticipation has just been hyped up way too much. See, the problem was, okay, here we go. This one comes from Thunder. I'm not going to say what their last name is because I'm pretty sure Thunder isn't their first name.
I've seen Blade Trinity. I know the rest of that sentence.
Fantastic. So Thunder says, I would like to know which sit-down table service restaurants at Universal City Walk at night are kid-friendly, or are all of them this way? Some of the restaurants seem more appropriate for adults, but I'm not sure.
I don't really think of any of them as being like not kid-friendly. I mean, does the Red Coconut serve food?
No, that's a night. That's a nightclub.
Okay, it's just a club. Okay. I mean, I'm sure some could. No, I don't know. I don't really think about it. I don't think any of them would be. I'd be more like, I'd be like, oh, this one gets louder or crazier than the others.
But see, that's how. Okay, as a whole, I would say they are all kid friendly. I would just say there are restaurants that I feel like would cater more towards kids in that way. I feel like obviously Twosome has a very fanciful side to
maybe
it.
Caters to kids a little bit too.
No,
you don't think so?
We're about due to go back to Cowfish again, whether it's personal or
we can go
with the company. But I think I was talking about this to some, I can't remember who, but I think if they decide to redo City Walk again in the near future,
get rid of it?
I think that'll probably be one to go.
Well, it's unfortunate. I mean, I haven't been since we did that Disney versus Universal video. So
yeah, I think potentially it could be. It feels like it loses a little bit of steam every single day it stays open. But anywho, I feel like Hard Rock Cafe, obviously a lot to stimulate you, and it's a very loud environment, so that's also a plus. You don't have to worry about kids screaming. I would say that would kind of go along too with like Bubba Gump in a way. And I thought about Margaritaville
I was going to say Margaritaville if there's like if they're playing music or something.
Yeah,
like that.
the only issue I see with Margaritaville, and as being one of those people before, usually when we're talking about like later night dining, if we're talking about like 7-8 o'clock, I would say you're still fine. But when it gets to the point where it's like 9:30, 10, and you go in, I will say that there's also a like-mindedness of a lot of people are in there for a lot of margaritas and a lot of drinking. So I've seen it become more inappropriate in that restaurant the later on it gets.
I think NBC's got you can play the games under the tables, right?
Yeah, I'd say I thought that kind of the Margaritaville effect, like I just talked about, I thought that would kind of slip over to NBC, but I don't think it really ever did.
No, but you get the impression it could, because it's like, all the TVs and the beer and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's pretty good at any point in the day, and it's antojitos. I think that's fine for kids late at night. It's not very exciting, but it's a very loud restaurant, so let your kids scream in there. It's not really going to disrupt anyone.
Please don't.
It's you know what. It's kids have a rough life too, just like adults.
We can't speak to the big fire, big burger, big happy, but
but I can already tell you that it will be big happy there.
It will be. Did you see that art that somebody sent us?
I wish I completely forgot about it until you just brought that up. But as we're giving the ending, wrapping up, I'll make sure that Ryno gives you the shout out for it because it was awesome. It made my day. So, but that's also it for this episode. We did our 2 questions. So thank you, Ryno. Thank you. And thank you everyone out there who listened and watched this. As always, if you need any more information, head over to disunplugged.com, home of the show notes page for the show and all the others on the Dis Unplugged podcast network. And, you can find links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or our email, uopodcast@disunplugged.com. So along with all of that, if you want to leave us questions for next week's show, use those comments on YouTube. That's where we're going to read them from. I know I said tweet at us and stuff, and last week we answered one from Twitter, but it's easiest if you leave it on YouTube. Even though now I'm saying that, I just realized that I struggle to find them every single week, so maybe I'm an idiot. That could potentially be it. But, yep, YouTube, leave those comments. Also, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell so you get notified anytime we have any new videos come up on our channel. And, yeah, hit that thumbs up if you want. And then if you're listening to this on iTunes, go ahead and if you're listening to us via Apple Podcasts, however you want to say it, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed, and as well as leaving us feedback. On top of that, too, if you're finding us audio-wise via other methods, Spotify, the rest, Google, Stitcher, any of those, well, hope you enjoy it.
I feel bad. I can't find it. It was on Twitter, I think.
Yeah. See, Ryno's trying to get to the point where he's a big influencer.
Found it. It was this person, Raya Karkis. We should probably submit this to Big Fire Mark. It was Big Burger, Big Fire, Big Happy.
Oh yeah, no, it's a really cute little illustration. It's it does make me big happy. Yeah, so thank you. That made our day. Hey, and if you have any other artwork you want to send us, use that Twitter at Teleclaster at RYNO1185.
It's my birthday.
Would love to see it. Yep. I will give you his social security number later.
Please don't.
Hey, it won't matter very long from now. So we're about to go Mad Max Thunderdome long run. It's cool.
That's what
it's
Bill
fine.
Nye said.
Mm-hmm. He is the science guy at that. Oh, we are ending the show. So thank you so much for listening and watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you next week for another episode. Until then, remember, we still haven't changed the game.